What's going on, everyone? It's Chris Gunzz. Welcome to the Chris Gunzz Boxing Show on 15rounds.com. And tomorrow night kicks off another Boxino tournament on ESPN2's Friday Night Fights. This time it is in the junior middleweight division. And here to talk about it and his fight against Brandon Adams tomorrow night is Alex Perez, the Brick City Bullet. Alex, thanks for joining me so close to fight time. Just got done with the weigh-in. Tell me how it went.
I went well. Since I'm coming up in weight, it's not for me. I weigh 152.
Yeah, what would your opponent come in at?
55, which I'm kind of lost, but I guess because I'm more of a fighter with it. I don't know, because I signed a contract on 54, but they gave out 55 today, so I don't know. I'm just ready to fight, man.
I was just. You guys both proved that you want to be in this very important tournament that can lead to many big things. He decided to move down from middleweight to the junior middleweight division, and you made a decision to move up 7 pounds. What does that say about you and your opponent?
What it say about me is I'm hungry. I don't know what it say about my opponent, but I'm hungry. I'm ready to make a statement, man.
I'm ready to go.
I've been ready to make a statement, but I wasn't getting a chance at 147.
Yeah. And just because you're the guy coming up and he's coming down, it has nothing to do with the height. And you bring in a pretty big. You come in. You're listed at 6'1", and he's listed at 5'8". Has nothing to do with height. You are coming up though, and he's coming down. But you don't always utilize that advantage as you sometimes like to fight inside. Now, because the fact that he is coming from middleweight, it might indicate that he could be the stronger guy in the ring. Is it important for you to use your height advantage in this fight?
Once the bell runs, I got to see what he brings to the table to adjust, and then I'll take it from there.
Yeah, some people might think that you're the underdog, but you were the underdog before, and you were the underdog in way more serious situations than just a boxing match. Before people write you off, they better know what you had to overcome in your life. You're the Brick City Bullet, and it was in the Brick City where you were actually shot twice. Talk about that a little bit, and what was that like?
It was crazy. I got shot in the chest and in the side, and like you said, I was underdog in that, right? And I fought through and I made it, so
Yeah, you did. And also stabbed. Not too many people can say they were shot and stabbed and survived it, but you did.
Yeah, man. I've been through a lot, man, but God was with me through it all, so I'm here.
And you also had to deal with the fear of facing what you thought might have been a trial. You were taken into police custody, and you spent 2 weeks in a jail cell, not knowing if you'd ever see freedom again. Luckily, God is good, and God looked out for you. And how'd you get out of that situation?
I just gave up. I gave all praise to God on any of those situations. I just let go and let God deal with it, especially the 30 years. That's behind me now, so I'm just looking forward past that and just trying to, make noise. Come on.
And all these things, they add to what makes you mature and become a man. You admitted to sometimes being a knucklehead, which we all were. How did all these events and all the things you had to go through change you and make you the man you are today?
Oh, man, it definitely did. 85%. You know what I'm saying? Going through all the trials and tribulations and just looking adversity in the eye. But, I'm still here, and I have to push forward for my family, most importantly, you know what I'm saying? So I'm here fighting and chasing a dream that I can grab one day.
I mentioned how you're coming up and he's coming down from middleweight. I mentioned your height advantage, but there's a lot of interesting numbers in this match, and among them, you are the elder statesman in this tournament. At 32, you're the oldest. How's that make you feel?
I don't even think about it.
Ironically.
I'm on my prime, so we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, 32. 32 is still a prime age. You're not an old man by any stretch, but ironically, your opponent is the youngest guy in the tournament at 25, and that could be either an advantage or a disadvantage. How do you see it?
I don't, it's boxing. Anything good. One punch can change everything. So I don't bank on nothing. I just want to go in there and focus and make it happen.
And on 8 different occasions, you've been 6 rounds or more, and you've been 10 rounds 2 times. He was in last year's Boxino tournament and made it all the way to the finals. Who do you think, by looking at it on paper, who do you think has the more experience?
I have it more first-hand advantage. That's without a question.
Yeah, you said that you put yourself through hell so that on fight night it'll feel like heaven. What did you mean by that?
I do what I gotta do in camp, man. I train hard. I suppose I train like no other. So, basically, the fight could be smooth selling. You know what I'm saying? So I go through hell to reach heaven, man.
Describe training camp for this fight. Only 6 rounds, but you can't afford to lose this fight. How do you train for this all-important 6-round fight? And do you feel the pressure going into tomorrow night?
The only little pressure I feel is the 6th round. That's the only thing. That Boston. Well, I just got to go. I'm going in there with trying to win every round by round. Not thinking about, usually 8, 10. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about breaking somebody down. Not thinking about that. Just one thing about round by round.
Yeah, and you mentioned the 6 rounds is the pressure, and I understand that. The 6 rounds, you can't afford to give any early rounds away. Do you plan on going out there and getting to it right away?
Yeah, definitely.
And I kind of feel you're kind of on edge before the fight. Most fighters usually are. Describe your mood 24 hours before fight time.
I'm relaxed. I'm laid back right now. I'm ready to get in there, man. I'm just ready to get in there and see what it's looking like at first round.
Why is the Brick City Bullet, Alex Perez, going to win this tournament that begins tomorrow night on ESPN2? Why are you going to be the man?
Right now, all I'm looking at is Brandon Adams. I'm not really even thinking about nobody else, but I'm just definitely looking to capitalize tomorrow, man. I've been through hell and back, and I'm still here. God got me here for a reason, so I feel as though I should be the man.
I'll tell you something. There's nothing more exciting than watching a guy, and as a matter of fact, 2 guys who want to get in there and they know how important it is. Can't wait to see the fight. I'll be there live to see it in person, and I can't wait. I wish you a lot of luck, Alex Perez. Thanks for joining me 24 hours before fight time.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the support.
And now we're speaking with Brandon Adams, the opponent for Alex Perez tomorrow night. Brandon, appreciate you joining me right after the weigh-ins. Pretty much, how'd the weigh-ins go, and how you feeling?
The weigh-ins went well. I'm feeling even better than the weigh-ins went, actually. Of course, I'm feeling all rejuvenated now that we've ate, but it didn't kill me to make weight. I feel great. I feel strong. I feel strong before then. We made weight pretty good. And we're just excited about tomorrow now. The first battle was weigh-in, of course, and now the second is the fight tomorrow night.
Yeah, you're a late comer to the game. It was after graduating high school you joined the gym and began your journey that leads you here to Connecticut tomorrow night. What made you decide to give boxing a shot?
Well, it was something I always wanted to do growing up. It was always boxing or play football. Of course, there's more kids who want to play football where I grew up at. So I was sort of a bit of an outcast trying to always put on the gloves. But as I got older, it was something, that I wanted to do a little more than play football, especially when I was denied by my high school coach. Told me, that I couldn't play on his team. I couldn't get on his field and play. It kind of hurt me a whole lot. So, I pushed and worked my butt off to become a professional boxer.
Would you say that you were good right away?
At football?
No, at boxing.
Oh, well, when I first got started, I trained for a year and watched everybody put on gloves, spar, and box in front of me, and it was eating me up. My first, not my first trainer, it was a guy who was handling me at the time by the name of Alvin Jones. He and I first started together, and he didn't know how to teach me to box. He was a heavyweight. He's like 6'6" or 6'7", so he couldn't relate really to me as far as me being a smaller fighter. So that's when he actually connected me with Dub. When I first got started, once I put on my gloves and started training, I said to myself, oh, man, you know what I mean? This is totally different from what I thought it'd be. And then when I had to spar, I didn't like spar. When I first started, I hated headgear. Secondly, you know what I mean, I didn't understand nothing, like the physics of boxing. I didn't understand any of it. I thought it was all crazy. Then I started questioning myself. Well, Brandon, what the heck are you getting yourself into? But, you know what I mean, time played this part. It definitely played its part with me as far as boxing goes. I was athletic because I was playing football, but I was, when I first started training, I was 5'4", and I was 180 pounds. And I was real muscular at this time. So, you know, I was athletic, but I couldn't go for so long. You know what I mean? I didn't have endurance. I had to build up for that. And everybody in the gym, they looked at me as a prospect. All of the adults and the trainers and people who was managing fighters, they look at me, they go, man, I see some talent. This kid comes to the gym every day. He's busting his chops. And I was in college. I had a job, and I was going to the gym. And the schedule started getting real hectic, especially my second semester being in college. So I finished my first year in college, and then I stopped going to college. I stopped going to school because I chose that boxing was going to be what I was going to portray. That boxing was what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm. And just before I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, so basically, I started training harder. We started going to different gyms, boxing. And, you know, I always, I criticize myself so hard that, you know, I don't give myself a leeway. I don't. So my trainer, Dub, he always tells me how good I'm looking. Everybody tells me I'm looking good. I'm coming along real good. But, you know, I didn't see the progress that they saw. And I'm just starting to see now, you know, I'm starting to get better at critiquing myself now, but I never gave myself a shot or break or anything. So, I mean, like, now I can tell the fruits of my labor is paying off, you know. It got people interested in me. It got me as far as making it to the finals in the Boxino tournament, and it's going to get me far.
Yeah, yep. And just before your 20th birthday, you fight your first amateur fight, and you went... you had an amateur career total of 6 wins, 2 losses before turning pro. So you're still kind of learning on the job. If you think about how much promise you have and what your great trainer Dub tells you, the potential you have when he thinks about it, what % do you think you're at right now of what's possible?
To be honest, the possibilities are endless. I could be branded as one of the greatest as far as, I mean, like, I meant to say not as far as, but, like, depending on me. I'm my biggest enemy. And I saw that during my last fight in the Boxino's tournament. I'm my biggest enemy. I can get in the way of myself. If I could just buckle down, relax, and do what I'm told and keep doing what I need to do, then, you know what I mean, you could see me as being not only your champion, but I could be one of the greatest fighters that ever put on some gloves. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As long as I stay focused.
That's right, and that's one of the learning things that you have to. A young fighter has to just accept what their trainers tell them and go out and actually perform it. That's what makes a real pro. So that's what's coming as you learn. And you did get you mentioned being in last year's Boxino tournament. You made it all the way to the finals. You defeated Daniel Edward. You beat Ray Gattaca. You got all the way to the finals, and you dropped a decision to Willie Monroe. Now, as a young guy with still a lot to learn, you can never stop learning. What did you take away from that experience that's going to help you in this tournament that begins tomorrow night?
Well, I definitely got different looks. Whether it was from Daniel Edward, being a seasoned veteran who was looking to set me up, and I didn't give him that chance to set me up, but I noticed that's what he was trying to do when we was fighting. Raymond Gatiga, him being the bigger fighter, or he used to fighting at 160, him being a southpaw, working on the inside a lot. He gave me experience as far as fighting southpaws, southpaws who wants to fight on the inside. And just, little tricks and trades he was doing as we were fighting. And then Willie Monroe, all around, honestly, he gave me a little bit of the amateur style, something that, I was unfamiliar with. Willie Monroe also, he let me see what it was like to fight a slick fighter. Like, I fought these slick fighters before in the gym, or when I fought on a card before. I fought a kid named Miguel Lopez from Oakland. And he was a slick fighter. So it wasn't so much as fighting just a slick fighter, but it was fighting a slick fighter who's southpaw. That's what I was very unfamiliar with, that I had to pick up as I was fighting Willie Monroe.
Mm-hmm. And Alex Perez, who you're fighting tomorrow night, is a southpaw. He's a southpaw, and he's tall, and he's rangy, but he doesn't always use his reach to his advantage. So
right.
He likes to get on the inside. So, only having had 8 amateur fights, and like I said before, you're learning on a job still. How comfortable do you feel in there with a southpaw right now?
Well, I feel real comfortable now. As I went back home, that was one of my main focuses was picking up some more experience and testing myself against other southpaws out there. This time now, because I got a name, more people was looking forward to helping me with as far as the work goes. But during the Boxino tournament, as far as my sparring goes, work wasn't all that good for me. Some people didn't want to spar. Some people were like, we don't know this kid. And then other times, people wouldn't go out on the limb to stick their neck out for me as far as sparring goes. But now, because I have a bit of a name and I'm stepping out there and I'm starting to make things happen, I can tell the quality in sparring and everything. Everything's pretty much picked up for me, and I'm very appreciative. But, as far as our training camp goes, I've been doing a heck of a whole lot better as far as being in there with southpaws, and I'm looking forward to proving it, to showing it, to showcase it tomorrow when we fight.
Some people say that the lead right hand works great against a southpaw, and some people say, no, it's the left hook that works best against a southpaw. What do you think?
Right.
What works
honestly,
best?
When I was watching my fight with Raymond Gatiga and when I was fighting Willie Monroe, I have to say the same thing that Teddy Atlas and Joe Tessitore was saying was, honestly, they were saying the same exact thing my trainer was saying in the corner. I don't know if there was broadcasting what my trainer was saying, but it's the jab. It's the jab. I mean, I understand that they say, the right hand, or they can't see the left hook because it's on the blind side. But really, you can't really get them punches in without making a man know that your jab exists.
Yeah. Yep, you're right. And George Foreman one time said that boxing's easy as long as you have a jab. George Foreman said that, so I guess...
Yep, and I recognized that during my training camp.
Yeah, and he's
Life
listed...
is a lot easier with a jab.
Absolutely. And he's listed at 6'1". You're listed at 5'8". I saw sometimes you were listed at 5'9" before, but he does have a height advantage on you. You saw him eye to eye. The weigh-in's already over. What did you think of the height advantage?
Well, I don't think much of it. I was training against all sizes of southpaws, whether it was a real sturdy, tough guy who works on the inside or guys who was the height of 6'2". And just for the record, I'm 5'8". They listed me 5'9", but I'm 5'8", and I stand with a hunch. So when I stand up completely straight, I'm 5'8". Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We train for all a southpaw, whatever style that he wanted to try to display that night. You know what I mean? We're going to be ready for it because I've definitely got good work from all styles of southpaws. Whether if he decides to fight slick,
You know what I mean? We have that in our arsenal. I have good memory. I remember what Willie Monroe did, and we know he doesn't fight like Willie Monroe. And that's not nothing like how Alex Perez would go out there and try to fight. And we know he's a crowd pleaser, so I kind of know, and I kind of got a sense of what he's going to do. So, you know, like I said, we're prepared for the best and the worst.
Yeah, and you're coming down to junior middleweight. He's coming up from welterweight. You're probably, logic would tell you, the stronger guy. Do you plan to go in there and try to take him out right away? Because with only 6 rounds to go in this fight, you can't give away too many rounds. So do you plan on going out there? And when I talked to Alex, he told me that he knew that, and he planned to go right at you. So is that your plan too? Do you plan to engage him right away and not give away?
Oh, yeah. I definitely plan on letting him know that I'm there, and you know, I exist. But as far as everything else goes, boxing is still a thinking man's game. So I'm gonna be filling him out. Now I'll be filling him out whenever he make a mistake. I'm definitely gonna let him know he made a mistake, and if he made too big of a mistake, then I'm definitely gonna let him know, let the world know. You know what I mean? So I'll still be fighting strategically, and but you know, I can't help my style. If I'm a come-forward fighter, it is what it is, and that's exactly what he's gonna see. And you know what I mean? I don't think he's gonna too much like me coming forward the whole fight.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I talked to both of you, and you can't really tell how the mood before the fight is affecting the guy. But when I talked to Alex, and I don't know him any other time before tonight, when I talked to him, it seemed like he was kind of edgy, on edge. You know, maybe thinking about tomorrow night's fight. Maybe he's one of those type of guys.
Yeah, I kind of got the same thing. When we interviewed before, and you know, I wasn't getting that same intensity as, you know, as he's stoked about the fight like I'm stoked. But you know, maybe that's part of the game plan. I don't know, but I know that we're doing good. We're feeling good. We're feeling great, and hopefully he comes out there to display, you know, what he's been doing and working on, because that's what we plan on doing.
Yeah, you admitted before to feeling some additional nerves before TV fights. You are on TV tomorrow night. How did you deal with that, and how did you overcome that?
Well, in the beginning, man, it was very hard. You watched me, well, the world watched me grow, fighting from Daniel Edward to me fighting Lee Byfield. Honestly, that's one of the biggest things as far as boxing goes, was the mental part as far as boxing goes with me. And I'm strengthening and sharpening it every time I get in there and fight. You know, I'm getting better at it, and it's just, as long as the TV and all that stuff doesn't bother me, you'll see a great fighter. And to me, you know, I feel I'm growing. I'm growing a whole lot. That's why I was able to go out there and take care of business in Lee Byfield's fight. But you know, I can tell. I'll look back at myself and I go, okay, man, you still got to settle down a bit. You still got to establish certain things. And you know, it's the same thing that my coach tell me, but you know, it's the same thing that I see when I look at myself. You know. So I believe tomorrow night, you know what I mean, I'll be able to get out there and cut up a little more, because I feel like I'm getting used to fighting in a bigger crowd.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss to not mention your trainer. You keep mentioning your coach, and he's one of those guys that not too many people hear about and not too many people see too often. But just so people know, Dub Huntley is the man that Morgan Freeman's character portrayed.
The baby, right?
Eddie Dupree in The $1 Million Baby. How much is he like the character you saw in the movie?
You know what, man? It's funny. I've never seen the movie all through. It's funny, man, but it's the truth. I've never seen the movie all the way through, and I can tell you, Dub Huntley is a mentor in my life. Like, Dub Huntley, in a sense, man, he is my father in boxing. He taught me everything I know inside of boxing, and he taught me a whole lot outside. He's the reason why, you know what I mean, I pretty much got my life together. Without him, there probably wouldn't be no there wouldn't be no Brandon Adams, really, honestly, as far as boxing goes. There were times that I was thinking or looking to make a bad mistake, man, and he bailed me out and got my life together. He did. And I'm very appreciative for that, and that's why I worked my butt off to make sure to show proof.
Yeah, what's the most important thing he taught you in life?
Man, dude, to protect myself at all times, in and out the ring.
Boxing and life, so much alike.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Describe your mood now. You seem really confident. You seem up. Is your mood any different tonight than it is normal with no fight scheduled?
Yeah, to be honest, man, this is the same Brandon Adams you're talking to right here. That's full of life and excited. That's the same Brandon Adams you would get if I didn't have a fight coming up. That's one thing I can honestly say about myself, man. I was bubbly, pretty much outside of boxing, whether if it was a good or bad choice in life. And with boxing, honestly, it just brings, I'm happy, I'm excited because this is all new to me, but it's something better than what I could have been doing. And this is a whole lot better, you know what I mean? Getting my name put out there, but really it's for the people, for the youth and all the kids and stuff who was taught that it wasn't going to be anything growing up, you know what I mean? Because I felt like I was one of those kids. Like, I was just saying a little story about how the football coach didn't want to let me on his field because I have an older brother's pedigree. My older brothers, you know what I mean? They didn't choose the same route that I chose. They chose the route that was given to them. And like me, I kind of just pretty shaded. I kind of turned away from it because I watched the way they grew up, and I didn't want to be involved in it. So in a sense, they paved the way for me. It just wasn't, you know, good decisions on their end. But I definitely, like, yeah, what you see is what you get with me, the whole smiling at every way in, looking at the guy, he's looking at me with a straight face, and I'm just so excited and grateful to be there, you know what I mean, because this is definitely a whole lot better than being out there making dumb decisions. That's basically how it is with me, you know, like, what could be better than actually out there changing people's lives, just being you.
Yeah. That's the sense I get from you. You're just a happy type of guy who's a man of the people. That's the sense I get from you. And you love what you're doing. You love what you're doing. Why are you going to win this tournament?
Huh?
Why are you going to win this Boxino tournament?
I'm going to win this Boxino tournament, man, because like, in a sense, I've grown from last year's tournament, and I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong, but you know, I feel there's a whole different me. Like as my work ethic, the way that I'm able to grab things now. You know what I mean? Not saying that I took the first Boxino tournament for granted. Of course I didn't. You know, it was very important to me. But honestly, man, losing to Willie Monroe, man, he definitely gave me a lot of experience, and he taught me something. You know what I mean? Like, after the fight, he was talking to me. He let me know, you know, how he was hurt when he lost his first fight and how it made him want to strive and work harder. But, you know, like I said, I criticized myself a whole lot. And I got to thinking, and I talked to myself, you know what I mean, in my head, of course. But I talked to myself a whole lot, and I said to myself, man, you know you could have won that fight had you would have worked and pushed yourself harder. You know, had you could, and after that, that's the way I apply myself. So whether it's learning, no matter what it is, or whatever it is, like whether it's being a better dad to my son or just a better person to somebody out there, a random person, it matters not. It's more so of, you know, if you know you could have set the bar higher, go for it. Then, you know, if something didn't go the way that you expected, as long as you know that you, honest to God, gave 120%, and you can't be upset with the results.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned your son. Congratulations, new baby.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
10 days after your last fight, or your fight with Willie Monroe, he was born, and your life became, I'm sure, a lot more blessed, and you have a lot more to fight for now. And I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you step in the ring tomorrow night against Alex Perez in a fight that is definitely going to be interesting. Best of luck, Brandon Adams. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Bullet versus the Cannon. We're gonna go by names that night. We're gonna be the Bullet, and I'm gonna be the Cannon.
No,
so we're gonna see whose arsenal is a whole lot stronger. We're gonna see.
That's kind of unfair. I think a Cannon. All right. I wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you again. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take it easy. And don't miss it. Tomorrow night, Friday Night Fights on ESPN2. The action kicks off at 9 p.m. from the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut. And if you represent a boxer, or if you're a boxer and you have a message to your fans, if you want a little exposure, if you have something to say, you could contact me at chris2gunz@gmail.com. Again, that's Chris, the number 2, Gunzz@gmail.com.